Everyone, we're going to be looking at the stores here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're seeing better produce out there, but we're seeing some issues in the frozen food sections. We're seeing frozen foods looking like we haven't seen them for years now. So some shocking stuff here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that you're going to want to see when you hear from you guys, whether you're seeing the same thing where you are or not. This is important. Let's jump right into those pictures over at Aldi. All right, beginning here at Aldi, the first thing I noticed as I walked into the store was the fresh food looked jammed, packed full of stuff. The whole aisle just looked just fantastic. But then when I took a little bit of a closer look, I noticed that they had jammed a lot more products on here than they normally do. We're not used to seeing the corn in this area. I'm not used to seeing the berries in this area. So a lot of that stuff would normally be across the aisle on separate bins and would not be in this produce section. So this produce section is looking fairly good, but they really did take the spinach and it has like 1/4 the amount of space it normally did. And a lot of these other salad things are pushed to the side and have a lot less space dedicated to them. We're seeing other things getting more space. That is noticeable. But overall, I'm going to say things look pretty good over there. Egg prices down to $1.54 a dozen. That's actually really nice. Now that's very antithetical what we're hearing from Cisco and some of the distributors out there, that they're saying that eggs are going to move into crisis very soon, and we should expect higher egg prices. This is a great opportunity, folks, to stock up. Stock up on your eggs and make sure that you have a plan for storing them for a longer period of time, whether you're going to dehydrate them or whether you're going to freeze them. Just make sure you have a good plan. Obviously, you can't freeze eggs in a shell, but you can crack them open and then freeze the eggs after they're out in the open, right? You can then put them into like a ice cube tray. You can put them in other things, and then once they're frozen, you can then pop them out and put them into a Ziploc bag. So lots of options there, but might want to start thinking about that, friends, because that's probably going to be something that's going to go up in price dramatically in the coming weeks. Dairy issues are still kind of out there. Not super serious here at Aldi. They seem to have a pretty good handle on things. Their sour cream, their yogurts, pretty well stocked. We're looking over at the butter category. They did do some reorganization here, seeing some issues with the fake butter. But actual butter seems to be pretty well stocked. Hot dogs looking fairly well stocked. We were a little concerned about that last week due to the fact that they had some pretty big holes. But we said, hey, it could just be people getting hot dogs ready for the summer, and that may have been what took place. We're seeing some issues here with a few of these canned goods here. Chili with beans, gone. No chili with beans. There's chili without beans, but no chili with beans. We also see that we have some Northern Catch down there in the bottom left, missing, and also the Vienna sausages, very thin in supply. We'll compare that, of course, over to Walmart and see what we're seeing with that. Down here, the tuna actually looked fairly well stocked overall, so we're good to see that. We haven't really seen major tuna fish issues out there, so I wasn't expecting too much there, but we're definitely keeping an eye on it. Some of the brown sugar and the natural sugars having some issues for the last number of weeks at Aldi. They haven't been able to keep that area stocked. So, but they consistently have some there. So it's not mission critical, but we're definitely keeping an eye on that. Some of you guys are seeing bigger shortages of sugar out where you are. I think that's probably more supply chain issues than it is an actual shortage of sugar. Pasta continues to be in flux. The name brand stuff, the fancy stuff, the organic stuff, pretty well stocked. But when it comes to the cheaper stuff, I don't know if it's just because people are rotating to the cheaper generic pastas. Aldi's having a hard time keeping on the shelves. You see some gaps here, not very well stocked on some of the other things, and they can't keep their spaghetti sauce stocked. They used to have that just packed to the gills, but that is not what we're seeing anymore. Less options and less stock. Some of the apple sauces looking a little bit lower, but not terrible. But we are seeing some issues over at Walmart, but we'll take a look at that over there. Some of the pork looked a little bit lean, but just not fully well stocked, but it is fresh stuff. And of course, we can't go off that too much. But what I did notice was that the bunkers were empty. And not like empty because they were broken, but empty because they didn't have stock. And as we go through these bunkers, check this out. There's stuff in that bunkers, right? So if it's not like they can't use them because they're broken or something like that. They do have product in there, just not much at all. It's like, okay, so we got these jalapeno poppers, but then the rest of the bunker's empty. And again, there's one box of bagel pizzas, and then like the rest of the bunker seems to be mostly empty, right? You can see that is prime real estate, friends. We have lots and lots of different product they could be putting in there, but they're not using this prime real estate, which is an indicator that they're having issues getting stuff to the store. There's another bunker with just one section with some product in it, the rest of the section's empty. Now, I don't know what's happening right there, but I am hearing from some of you guys saying that that Aldi is having some distribution issues. So we'll keep an eye on that. But if you want to get stocked up, if you're going to do some heavier shopping or you really need stuff, make sure you are aware that Aldi may have issues where you are, particularly with the frozen food section. They seem to be doing well elsewise, okay? So let's look over at the ice cream section. You can see some more holes than what we're normally seeing there, but plenty of options, of course. Now, before we go over to Walmart, let's first thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. If you have a retirement account like an IRA or 401k and you want to learn more about that, there's the phone number right there on the screen. You can give them a call and just ask your questions. If you decide to move forward, make sure you mention this channel so they waive your setup fees. That will save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. That's exclusive to this channel, and they may have offered it to other channels too. I don't know. But this channel, mention this channel, and they will waive that setup fee. But no obligations if you give them a call. There'll also be a link at the end of the video that you can fill out, and they'll get in contact with you or send you an information packet, whichever you prefer on that. Okay, over at Walmart here, frozen food section, we saw just the breading sections. Walmart's having some issues with the frozen food section too. So that is not just an Aldi thing. And when we see multiple national chains having similar issues, you got to start asking yourself a question. What's going on? And here we are with the frozen potatoes. That we haven't seen it look like that for a while, have we? That's pretty new, friends. This was in the afternoon, and I'm not going any different time than what I normally do, and this is what I'm seeing here. Just from another angle, just lots of potatoes missing. And not just the frozen French fries and stuff, but pierogies and other things. Some of the other products, some of the Totino rolls and stuff like that having issues. Coffee. Coffee wasn't looking so great last week, and this week it's actually looking worse. So now this is mostly Maxwell House. The Folgers looked a little bit better, so there's that. But Maxwell House was not looking good this week. Coffee Mate and the powdered creamers, not too bad, but we are keeping an eye on them because there are issues over with the liquid creamers. And when they have issues with the liquid creamers, people come over to the powdered creamers and start picking up more of them. And if you are a coffee drinker and you normally get liquid creamers, remember, if the power goes out, if you can't go to the grocery store, You're not going to be able to get liquid creamers, right? But the powdered creamers are actually pretty shelf stable, so you can stockpile those a bit. Now just be careful about how long you can store them. But generally, I think it's as long as you keep them pretty dry, you're pretty good. Once they get a little wet, they start caking up real bad, right? All right, so we got canned fruit. Where did it all go? Because that's not very much. Now that second shelf down there looks like it has some in the back behind there, but the top shelf, nope, nothing behind that. There's 2 pineapple chunk jars, cans. There's 2 sliced peaches. That's not how that's stocked usually. And the applesauce. Also, again, look down behind there and you'll see that there's a lot of missing product back there. That is not looking good on that. Now, applesauce, we've been having some issues there ever since they had a cinnamon recall, and then we just continue to have issues since then. I don't know more about what's going on with that. A lot of the applesauce that we see at these bigger stores are American apples that get sent over to China for processing, and then the applesauce comes back to us. China's been having a lot of production issues, so that may be just on their side of things. Other donut, like these little pod things. I mean, they make so much money off the markup of these things that they should never run out of these things, because if they have coffee and they're deciding where it goes, they should definitely put it in there. Applesauce cups, tea. Now, people are probably making a bunch of sweet tea and an iced tea and stuff like that for the summer, but still, that's a lot lower than what we're used to seeing. We're still seeing the Hershey's chocolate syrup and the chocolate syrup really low, and that's probably due to the cocoa shortage out there. We have Heinz ketchup. That looks better from that angle than what I was looking at before, so that actually is not too bad. So that's pretty good. Pinto beans, GV pinto beans, cool. Where's the GV rice? Now that one on the far left, that's actually another brand, I think. But we got that section is looking like more pinto beans, and there's even some holes there in the pinto beans. And then we got barbecue sauce. Continuing to see issues with the pickles and other canned vegetables like olives and such. Vinegar has been continuing to be an issue. That's still probably the industrial side that's having the problems, and they're pulling from the food side and bringing that over to, because you can make vinegar from petroleum, and so the industrial side uses the petroleum vinegar, but they're having issues with production of that, and they're not making enough of it. They use it for all sorts of stuff, and so they are using the grain vinegars on the industrial side, and that means that there's less available for the food side. Plus, there's just an uptick in people using vinegar, but, and this is important, no more this week than there were last week, right? I mean, there have been shifts, but these stores should be tracking with those changes. I mean, it's not like suddenly this week everyone's using vinegar and last week they weren't using much vinegar at all, right? We are seeing bigger shifts, but these stores are showing an inability to keep track with what's going on out there, which indicates there's supply issues, distributor issues that are holding things up. Some salsas kind of out of stock. Where'd all the GV canned pastas go? They're all gone. The Chef Boyardee pastas all spread out, but the GV ones are gone. The generics, gone. I was actually looking for them specifically because I was going to recommend them on the Poplar Pepper channel, and so I wanted to kind of check what the prices were and stuff like that, because I got a bunch of them in my stockpile, because I consider them like MREs, right? I mean, you pop open a can of that, Chef Boyardee pasta in a can, you can just eat that straight out of the can. It's like a cold MRE. It's a can of food ready to go, and you don't have to prepare it. You don't have to cook it. It tastes better if you warm it up, of course, but you can just eat it straight out of the can. Done that before. Some of the green beans, a whole empty shelf there. Again, prime real estate. That has not typically been Walmart. Why are our stores looking more and more like communist Russia right before the collapse? That's what I want to know. Why is it looking like that? And this is before the dollar implodes completely. Some of the mashed potato stovetop stuffing continues to expand to take up more and more real estate, and mashed potatoes are squeezed more and more. We're hearing out there that there are potato production issues. They're having a hard time getting them in the ground, and reports out there of them rotting in the ground because of too much rain in different places, right? England, the UK is saying bad things about potatoes, and we're hearing across the Northwest and the North Central states where a lot of the potatoes are grown, they're having troubles with them. This canned bean section, why they don't have enough Joan of Arc cans, I don't know. Maybe we should ask somebody. Canned chicken, there's a big gaping hole right there with that. Of the multi-packs, that's a lot less than what we're used to seeing. Keystone is still there, but we are seeing prices coming up on the Keystone cans. We've been telling you, stock up, stock up, stock up. I used to like getting those nice canned hams. Those things have gotten way, way too expensive. And now Spam is only for the really tall people now. Like the flavored Spam cans all the way out of reach. So you have to ask for assistance to get, if you want some Spam bacon, if you want some Spam jalapeno, or if you want other varieties like that. Oh, look at that. You have to jump up on your tippy toes to get at that. Regular Spam is right in front of your nose, but none of the flavored stuff. Noticed that before. They're having a hard time producing enough of it. And corned beef hash, notice the section has gotten a lot smaller there too. And Vienna sausages, especially the generic ones, less shelf space. They're not able to keep them in stock with the shelf space they have, and that's happening. Tuna fish looking better over here. We got generic down there, fairly well stocked. Not too many complaints. Some of the name brand stuff like the bulk packs, like the 4-pack Starkist, that is, there's only a couple of those. So, but I don't know how many people were really buying name brand multi-packs all that often. Ramen noodles looked a little light there. I'm keeping an eye on that to see if we got our panic gauge has started to trigger a little bit. I'm getting the feeling that people are starting to pay attention more. I don't sense panic out there yet, but I get the feeling that more and more people are paying attention and are asking the questions, how do I deal with inflation? How do I put food on my family's kitchen table? How do I deal with this? And people have been pivoting from eating out to eating frozen dinners. And that's why the TV dinners are so wiped out. We're seeing a lot of the frozen pizzas disappearing. We're seeing a lot of the frozen potatoes disappearing because people are eating more of those. Also, Knorr sides and some of these other products where they're very easy, simple, one-pan type things to make at home. We're seeing a lot of those starting to disappear because people are pivoting to cheaper food. And they're pivoting to pasta. And they're going to the store and they're grabbing their GV brand. And if they're like, I want a nicer meal for my family, but I can't afford to take them out to eat, let's grab a fancy brand pasta. And so we're just seeing issues with pasta out there because the supply chain is just not ready for that many people to suddenly be pivoting their buying habits. Sugar. Some of you guys are complaining about sugar out there. Not seeing tremendous problems here, but starting to see some gaps opening up on the shelves. And the stockpile is looking a little bit low. I don't know if this is a one-off. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'll let you know. Let us know what you guys are seeing where you are. If you have an update that you'd like to share with the rest of the folks on this channel, please make sure you put the comment on this video or any video on this channel, but make sure you use the word update somewhere in there. And then let us know what you're seeing at your stores. Are you seeing the same thing as what I'm seeing here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or are you seeing something different where you are? All right, flour, definitely not looking all that great. We got some fronted right there. There's 3 bags of gold. If you don't want those, then tough luck. Go take a hike. Same thing with seed oils. Cisco is warning us. They're warning us that there's issues with the seed oils, vegetable oil and canola oil particularly. And we look a week later at the shelf. Can you see that maybe Cisco might know a thing or two about what's going on with the supply chain? Yeah, look at that. And now Cisco is saying stuff's going on with the frozen food too. But they don't do quite as much with that. They mostly focus in on fresh produce and also with the canned goods and dry goods. Seasonings, not looking great. Salt, fairly well stocked, but one of the things you'll notice here is there's a lot of name brand stuff. There's plain GV salt, but where's the plain, the iodized GV salt? Nope, gone. Doesn't exist. I don't know why iodized salt is getting so, why we're having so many issues with it. It's something that should be very easy to manufacture. We've had some hiccups last fall with production due to some strikes, but we really shouldn't be seeing any issues beyond that. Olive oil, of course, gone up in price dramatically, and availability is becoming more of an issue due to our bad harvests over in Spain and Italy. Now we got eggs all over the place. Egg prices coming down here at Walmart too, but that is probably going to be temporary. So do make sure you're stocking up on eggs if you really want eggs and you want the low prices, because those prices could easily double if we see any more issues with chickens, hens getting cold. We already had enough out there that we should be seeing higher egg prices. I don't know if people are just pulling back, but right now the way they are, eggs are the cheapest protein out there that you're going to get. Now obviously there's other cheaper proteins like whey and stuff like that, but generally speaking, it's a great cheap protein that you can get your family fed on, right? Fake butter looking a little bit low over here too, but then when we look at butter itself, it's looking a little bit lower here. Half a bin left of butter, but it is present and we're not seeing any holes there. Sour cream, a little more issues with that, and the cottage cheese. We haven't seen any cream cheese issues recently except for that recall that we had at Aldi, but that was unrelated. And this is because I don't know how I took that picture, but getting some random pictures in the mix there. I try not to take pictures of people, but sometimes the finger slips, I guess. Heavy cream, half and half. You have to climb into the back of the cooler to get that stuff. And then over at the more processed creamers, we're seeing a lower supply of those too. All right, friends, I did take a quick gander at the the canning jars, and this is kind of what I saw. I mean, some holes here and there. Prices are up from what they used to be, but generally speaking, you're seeing pretty good availability out there. Mainstays, I haven't seen that as a brand before, so that's like basically a GV brand or a Walmart brand, because they have other products that are mainstays out there. So I think that is a Walmart-owned brand. They're coming out with their generic canning jars. I don't know what the quality of those things are. If you guys have experience with them, please let us know. But I imagine they're probably cheap Chinese jars. So if you use them for canning, see how they hold up and let the rest of us know. Use the word update, of course, in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there on the screen. If you want to check out our video from this channel, there's one right up on the screen too. Also down in the pinned comment, there is a Campbell's soup deal that I talked about over on the Poplar Prepper channel. It's basically $1.46 for Campbell's Chunky Soups. So if you want to check out that deal, there's a link down in the comment down below. You have to get like 14 of them, and then you basically get a $10 coupon off. That's down in the pinned comment. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.